Quick question for you. Have you ever repeated something you heard without really understanding it? Maybe it was a piece of advice from a friend, a quote from a book, or even a saying your grandmother used to tell you. Did it go smoothly, or did it lead to one of those classic facepalm moments? Before we dive in, take a second to think about it and drop your story in the comments. We'd love to hear how it went. Today, on Timeless Proverbs and Perspectives, we're unpacking an ancient African proverb that challenges us to do more than just repeat what we hear. It's about looking closer, focusing on the details, and discovering the wisdom that might just change the way we live. So, what's today's proverb? Drum roll, please. The wise create proverbs for fools to learn, not to repeat. Now, this isn't just some catchy line you'd find in a fortune cookie. This is a piece of wisdom that's been handed down for generations. It's like the original life hack, surviving the test of time and still hitting the mark today. Seriously, who doesn't love a good life hack, right? But here's the thing. Are we truly learning from these proverbs, or are we just parroting them without digging deeper? Let's dive into some real talk about growth, personal growth to be exact. Think of this proverb as your personal coach, nudging you to stop coasting on autopilot and start thinking deeply. In today's world, it's all too easy to skim the surface, picking up just enough knowledge to get by. But this little gem of a proverb, it's like a magnifying glass, helping you focus on the details that truly matter. Real growth doesn't happen on the surface. It happens when we dig deeper. With so much information coming at us every day, true wisdom is like that rare Pokemon we all want to catch. Elusive, but when you finally get it, it's a total game changer. Let me share a quick story. You know that saying, knowledge is power? We've all heard it a million times. Back when I was younger, and, let's be honest, thought I had everything figured out, I used to throw that phrase around like confetti. I thought I knew what it meant. But then, life threw me some curveballs, and I found myself dishing out that advice without really understanding it. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well. The person I was trying to help walked away no wiser, and I was left wondering what went wrong. That's when it hit me. Just knowing something isn't enough. It was a wake-up call, a light bulb moment. I realized that knowledge on its own is just potential power. You've got to know how to use it for it to really count. From that day on, I made a promise to myself to stop being a wisdom repeater and start being a wisdom seeker. I started digging deeper into the proverbs and advice I came across, figuring out what they really meant before I repeated them. And guess what? It changed how I live my life. I became more thoughtful, more intentional, and a whole lot wiser. And no, I haven't made that mistake again since. It's like upgrading from a flip phone to a smartphone. Once you level up, there's no going back. Now, let's talk science for a minute. Research shows that true learning happens when we actively engage with information, not just when we passively scroll through it like we do with our Instagram feeds. When we take the time to really think about what we learn, it sticks. It's like making the perfect pancake. You need the right ingredients and time to cook it just right. That's why understanding, not just repeating, is the secret sauce to wisdom. It's the difference between cramming for a test and actually mastering the material. And let's be honest, we'd all rather be masters than crammers, right? But wait, there's more. This proverb isn't just some modern-day mantra, it's got deep roots. We're talking about cultural roots in Africa, where storytelling is practically an Olympic sport. For centuries, African communities have passed down knowledge, history, and values through proverbs, songs, and stories. These aren't just catchy one-liners, they're packed with meaning, like the perfect plot twist. And in many African societies, proverbs are the ultimate conversation starter. Elders use them to teach, offer advice, and sometimes to give you a little nudge, or a not-so-subtle hint, when you're veering off track. Picture this. You're sitting around a campfire in an African village, the night sky above you filled with stars, and an elder begins to speak. They might say, "The wise create proverbs for fools to learn, not to repeat," as a gentle reminder to think before you speak. It's like being told to stop and smell the roses, only in this case, it's about pausing to understand the words before you pass them on. This approach fosters a deep respect for wisdom and encourages critical thinking, a skill we could all use a bit more of these days. Plus, it's a great way to avoid saying something you'll regret later. In Africa, storytelling is an art form that's been perfected over centuries. Proverbs like this one are woven into tales that aren't just for fun, though they are fun, but are also packed with life lessons. Think of them as the original TED Talks, delivered around a campfire. The wisdom passed down through these stories isn't just heard, it's lived, felt, and remembered. These stories stick with you, like that catchy tune you can't get out of your head, but in a good way. So, how do we take this wisdom and apply it to our daily lives? Easy. Next time you get some advice or hear a quote that hits you right in the feels, pause. Don't just hit share on your social media feed. Take a moment to think about it. What does it really mean? How can you use it in your life? For example, if someone says, patience is a virtue, don't just nod like you're in on the secret. Reflect on how patience can play a role in your interactions, whether it's waiting for the perfect moment, being kind when others are testing your limits, or giving yourself the grace to grow. By doing this, you're not just repeating wisdom, you're living it. And here's another tip. Keep a journal. I know, it sounds old school, but hear me out. Writing down the proverbs or advice that resonate with you can help you explore what they really mean and how they apply to your life. It's like having a conversation with yourself, digging deeper into the wisdom you encounter. Plus, it gives you something to look back on and see how your understanding has grown over time. It's like creating a personal guidebook for living wisely. Now let's flip the script for a sec. Think back to a time when you might have repeated advice without fully getting it. Did it work out? Did it lead to misunderstandings or missed opportunities? Reflecting on these moments can help us avoid doing the same thing again. When we take time to think, we turn words into wisdom that actually guides us, like Google Maps, but for life. And hey, who doesn't want to avoid the metaphorical dead ends and wrong turns? Here's the game plan. Next time you're about to drop some knowledge, pause. Ask yourself, do I really get this? Jot down proverbs or advice that resonate with you. Unpack what they mean. Talk them over with friends or family to get new perspectives. And most importantly, don't just say it, live it. That's how you make wisdom a part of who you are, not just something you know. And remember, this isn't just about you. It's about building a community of wisdom seekers. Why not start a conversation with your friends, family, or even on social media? Ask them what proverbs they live by and how those words have shaped their lives. You might be surprised by the different perspectives and insights you'll gain. It's like crowdsourcing wisdom, and who doesn't love that? Let's wrap this up with a little help from one of the OG philosophers, Socrates. He famously said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." That's deep, right? It's a reminder that understanding, not just knowing, is the real goal. That's what separates the wise from the not so wise. It's like having the cheat code for life. And guess what? The more you realize how much there is to learn, the more open you become to the wisdom all around you. Today on Timeless Proverbs and Perspectives, we took a deep dive into the proverb, "The wise create proverbs for fools to learn, not to repeat." We've broken it down, explored its roots, and even looked at how it can level up our lives. So here's my challenge to you. Next time you hear some sage advice, don't just repeat it, get to know it, reflect, understand, and then put it into action. That's how you'll not only gain wisdom, but also live a life that's thoughtful and intentional. It's like moving from amateur to pro, from good to great. If you enjoyed today's wisdom-packed session, why not join the Timeless Proverbs and Perspectives crew? Give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. What's your favorite proverb, and how do you use it in your life? I'd love to hear your take. Sharing is caring, right? Plus, your perspective might just be the spark someone else needs. And hey, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our next deep dive into timeless wisdom. By joining our journey, you'll be taking steps toward a deeper understanding of life's wisdom, and together, we can explore the timeless teachings that have guided generations. Plus, who wouldn't want to be part of a community that's all about getting wiser every day? It's like having a VIP pass to the ultimate wisdom club. Before you go, here's something to think about. What's the last piece of advice or proverb that really made you stop and think? How did it change your perspective? Share it with us. We're all ears. And who knows? Your story might just be the inspiration someone else needs to take that first step toward a wiser, more thoughtful life. Thanks for hanging out with us today, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Remember, wisdom isn't just what you know, it's what you understand and live by. So let's keep those minds sharp, those hearts open, and continue this journey together. Until next time.